Complete beast machines. Transformers, 1999 to 2000. So you came for robots turning into animals, and suddenly you're questioning the nature of free will and the soul? Welcome to Beast Machines. Fans assumed Beast Wars had ended when the last roar sounded, but Beast Machines had other ideas. This 1999 sequel turned the tables on the Transformers world with its sleazier, darker, and much more philosophical tone compared to your typical Saturday morning animation. The mere skirmishes had given way to a techno-organic Cybertron, where evolution had become an anthem rather than a mere term. In fact, Beast Machines dared to be jarring, profound, and revolutionary, and for better or worse, that worked like a charm. So let's dive into the series that split the fandom, challenged the law, and asked the ultimate philosophical question: what does it really mean to transform? Also, if you appreciate our efforts in bringing you this blast from the past, do hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more. Season 1, 1999, Episode 1, The Reformatting. After their hard-fought victory in the Beast Wars, Optimus Primal, Rat Trap, Cheetor, and Black Arachnia return to their home planet of Cybertron, only to find it transformed beyond recognition. Their advanced transmetal upgrades are mysteriously gone, leaving them vulnerable and trapped in unstable beast modes. The change isn't just physical, they're plagued by a searing pain and a virus that prevents them from transforming, locking them into their organic forms. Worse still, their sparks, the very core of their being, begin to flicker and fade. The moment they set foot on Cybertron, they are met with hostility. Sleek and unfeeling Virkon tank drones patrol the surface, immediately giving chase. Optimus, desperate to rally and lead, attempts to transform, but the effort brings only agony. The virus grips him tighter, refusing to let go. He stumbles upon a derailed monorail and, guided by a strange signal, finds Rat Trap hidden within. Like Optimus, Rat Trap struggles with memory loss and is unable to revert to his robot form. Their reunion is brief as more Virkons close in, but then Cheetor arrives, stealthy and quick despite his condition. He cleverly ambushes the drones and speaks of hope, of a CR chamber that might cleanse their infected systems. Just as the group begins to regroup, they find Black Arachnia, who, like the others, is trapped in her organic spider form. Realizing the surface is no longer safe, the Maximals retreat. They descend through long abandoned tunnels, metal giving way to stone as they journey into Cybertron's forgotten depths. At last, they reach a subterranean cavern, its walls glowing with molten light. There, hidden deep within the planet, they discover the Oracle, an ancient Cybertronian supercomputer pulsing with cryptic power. The Oracle reaches out to them, urging Optimus to restore balance. In this moment of revelation, the Maximals are offered a choice: to undergo a transformation unlike any before. Not merely machine or flesh, but something new, a techno-organic synthesis. One by one, they submit to the process. Their bodies are reforged, infused with the Oracle's vision of harmony between technology and nature. Yet even as they rise, reborn with techno-organic strength, there is no time to rest. A fresh wave of Cycle Virkon drones arrives, launching an assault. Still unable to transform at will, the Maximals engage in their beast forms. Rat Trap shreds through tires with sharp claws. Cheetor uses speed and precision to strike, and Black Arachnia spins webs to trap and disable. Optimus, meanwhile, is wounded and faltering. The battle around him blurs as the Oracle's voice returns, echoing in his mind. To unleash the warrior within, he must tame the beast without. Focusing inward, he finds clarity, and in that moment, his transformation ignites. No longer bound by old rules, his form morphs like liquid metal, flowing into a powerful robot mode equipped with flight jets. It's a new kind of evolution, and a sign of what's to come. As Optimus looks to his team, he knows their path won't be easy. They must learn to control their transformations, to adapt and survive. Above, watching from the shadows, Megatron, now master of the Vehicon army, vows to eradicate the Maximals and their unwanted hybrid nature. The war for Cybertron has only just begun. Episode 2, Master of the House. Days wind down, as the Maximals struggle to adapt to their new techno-organic bodies. Disoriented and uncertain, they retreat to the underground depths of Cybertron, where Optimus Primal begins leading training drills in a vast, shadowy cavern. With an emphasis on emotional balance as the key to mastering their robot modes, he pushes the group, Cheetor, Black Arachnia, and Rat Trap, to gain control over their unstable forms. While Cheetor and Black Arachnia gradually adjust, Rat Trap continues to lag behind, frustrated by his inability to transform. Their session is abruptly interrupted when a Mole Vehicon drone bursts through the cavern wall, its heavy drills churning through steel and stone. Chaos erupts as Cheetor and Black Arachnia, caught off guard, instinctively revert to their beast forms, retreating behind Primal. Remaining in his techno-organic mode, Primal intercepts the drone's attack and, with a concentrated burst of spark energy, crushes the machine in a single powerful blow. The encounter reinforces a harsh truth: they're not ready for open combat. Primal insists on continued discipline and mastery over transformation, despite rising tension and Cheetor and Black Arachnia's growing impatience to act. Though eager to search for fellow Maximal survivors, they ultimately split up, Primal taking Rat Trap deeper into the tunnels while Cheetor and Black Arachnia head to the surface. Emerging into Cybertropolis, the duo finds a chilling silence hanging over the once thriving city. The skyline remains stark and futuristic, but something vital is missing. Buildings stand untouched, yet there are no signs of life. Their fears are confirmed when they reach the info core. It's been completely wiped. Not a single trace remains of the millions of sparks that once pulsed through Cybertron. Before they can investigate further, a squadron of Aero Vehicon drones descends on them, engines screaming through the empty streets. The ambush throws them into disarray. Cheetor, overwhelmed, fails to shift into robot mode and reverts to his feline instincts to flee. Black Arachnia, however, uses her webbing to ensnare two drones, holding the line until reinforcements arrive. Primal and Rat Trap join the fray, though even Primal struggles under the relentless assault. Cornered and desperate, Cheetor and Black Arachnia regain focus. For the first time, they successfully shift into their robot forms mid-battle. Cheetor channels his energy into twin scimitars, slicing through the drones with newfound precision. Black Arachnia releases electric stingers, disabling targets with sharp bursts of power. The tide turns quickly and the drones fall. Though victorious, the moment is sobered by Primal's reprimand. Cheetor had disobeyed orders in rushing ahead, and the consequences could have been dire. Still, there's a flicker of hope. For the first time since their transformation, the Maximals experience a sense of forward momentum. With renewed determination, Primal leads the group to the Council Citadel, once the heart of Cybertron's governance. Inside, they find Megatron. Encased in imposing control armor, he stands at the center of the Citadel like a self-crowned tyrant. He claims responsibility for the world they no longer recognize, a sterile, machine-ruled Cybertron purged of all organic life. He unleashes his Dragon Beast form, disabling his own drones to take on Primal directly in a brutal display of power. The clash leaves the Citadel trembling. Primal's team narrowly pulls him to safety, retreating before Megatron can finish him. Back underground, a quiet resolve settles over Primal. Once, he had spared Megatron. This time, he vows, he won't make that mistake again. Episode 3: Fires of the Past. The episode premieres with a brutal assault on the Cybertronian archives. A relentless squadron of Vehicon tank drones storms the ancient structure, tearing through the defenses with mechanical precision. Inside, Black Arachnia watches in horror as centuries of cultural legacy are reduced to rubble. Iconic statues crumble under heavy fire, and soon the archives themselves are obliterated. Amid the wreckage, Rat Trap emerges, bruised but alert, with grim news: the entire databank has been wiped. Every record of Cybertron's history is gone. Fueled by rage, Optimus Primal charges into a solo attack. He scales a collapsing building, using its momentum to bury dozens of drones beneath cascading debris. His strength and spark energy are undeniable, but even he can't turn the tide alone. Overwhelmed by enemy numbers, he's forced to retreat alongside Cheetor. From a distant command post, Megatron watches the destruction unfold, pleased by both the erasure of Cybertron's memory and the growing pressure on the Maximals' free will. Back at the Viacon command base, Megatron receives a report from a diagnostic drone. It assures him that his control armor has successfully suppressed any remaining organic impulses. Yet the increasing loss of drones begins to cast doubt. The Maximals are adapting faster and smarter than expected. Recognizing that sheer numbers aren't enough, Megatron changes tactics. He activates 3 specialized Viacon generals, Tankor, Jetstorm, and Thrust. Meanwhile, Black Arachnia begins experiencing unsettling visions, flickers of a familiar presence. Drawn by the haunting image of someone she can't quite identify, she sneaks away to the central spaceport. Rattrap follows at a distance, concerned but curious. There, the mystery deepens. Just as they begin to explore the abandoned terminal, the 3 new generals descend upon them with overwhelming force. The 2 Maximals barely manage to dodge the initial onslaught. In the chaos, Black Arachnia loses control of her transformation and reverts to beast mode, only to realize this shift conceals her from Viacon radar. This accidental discovery becomes their saving grace. Inside the control hub of the derelict spaceport, Black Arachnia hacks into the Autobot shuttle's system and uncovers alarming data. 6 Maximals were aboard before the planet fell silent. 2 names immediately stand out, Rhinox and Silverbolt, but there's no confirmation of their fate. Fearing Megatron could use this data to track the Maximals' base, Black Arachnia and Rattrap prepare to delete it. Their efforts are nearly thwarted when the generals return, but just in time, Optimus and Cheetor arrive in a burst of energy, covering their escape. The shuttle's core detonates moments later, engulfing the chamber in flames and destroying the last trace of the flight log. In the aftermath, Optimus rebukes Black Arachnia and Rattrap for taking such a dangerous risk without alerting the team. Yet their findings shift the stakes dramatically. The possibility that Rhinox and Silverbolt may still be out there reignites hope and questions. As they retreat once more into the shadows of Cybertron's underground, the Maximals carry with them not just a mission to survive, but a renewed drive to recover their missing comrades. Episode 4: Mercenary Pursuits. Furious over his general's repeated failures, Megatron delivers a chilling ultimatum. Whichever Viacon commander captures the Maximals will earn their freedom, a cruel reward in the form of spark removal. The promise unsettles even his most loyal subordinates, but it's enough to ignite fierce competition among them. Elsewhere, Optimus Primal sits in quiet meditation, his mind reaching into the spark fields that linger across Cybertron. Amid the emptiness, he senses a faint flicker, something familiar and distant, like an echo of Rhinox or Silverbolt. Compelled by the glimmer of hope, he rallies the Maximals for a search mission, determined to uncover the truth behind the elusive spark signature. During the sweep, Rattrap breaks off from the group and infiltrates a hidden lab deep within the ruins. There, he stumbles upon 2 vials containing powerful viral agents. One is the transformation inhibitor, clearly the same virus Megatron had used to trap the Maximals in beast mode. The other is its opposite, a rare countervirus, a transformation enhancer. Desperate to regain full control of his robot form, Rattrap steals it without telling the others. The enhancer works, but only partially. Instead of a smooth transformation, Rattrap begins to glitch. His body spasms between beast and robot mode, sometimes morphing into strange, unstable hybrid forms. The uncontrolled shifts emit energy spikes, alerting nearby enemies. Tankor, one of the Viacon generals, zeroes in on the disturbance and confronts the Maximals, trapping them beneath a shimmering energy dome. Before long, Jetstorm and Thrust arrive on the scene. Rather than cooperate, they break into a brawl over who will claim the prisoners and win Megatron's promised reward. As their clash grows increasingly violent, a massive explosion erupts in the dome's center. The blast knocks out all parties, except for Tankor, who emerges as the sole victor. With the Maximals subdued, Tankor transports them to the Citadel. There, Megatron revels in the victory, taunting his captives while Tankor steps forward to claim the freedom he was promised. He demands the removal of his spark, unaware of the sinister irony. But before Megatron can fulfill the bargain, Rattrap, his body still twitching from unstable shifts, breaks free. Amid the chaos, he cuts Tankor loose. Optimus seizes the moment, reaching out to Tankor's spark in a desperate appeal. For a fleeting moment, something within the Vehicon stirs. Against Megatron's control, Tankor hesitates, then blasts a hole through the Citadel's wall, creating an escape route for the Maximals. They flee together, slipping back into the underground shadows. But the reprieve is short-lived. Megatron reasserts his influence over Tankor, erasing the memory of his defiance and tamping down the brief resurgence of identity. Soon after, Tankor reappears, this time in a blind fury, attacking without reason or restraint. The Maximals are forced to defend themselves. In the heat of battle, they lure Tankor into a trap, triggering a blast from his own cannon. The resulting shockwave sends him plummeting through Cybertron's surface, crashing directly into Jetstorm and Thrust, all three reduced to a tangled heap of metal. As silence returns, Optimus reflects on the encounter. The spark inside Tankor had felt painfully familiar, too familiar. Beneath the armoured shell and weaponized rage, something lost and tragic still lingered, waiting to be remembered. Episode 5, Forbidden Fruit. Deep within Cybertron's shadowy underworld, Optimus Primal continues to guide the Maximals through their transformation struggles. In a quiet chamber, lit by the soft glow of pulsating circuitry, he trains Cheetor and Black Arachnia to find their still point, a moment of balance between instinct and discipline that anchors their techno-organic forms. The exercises demand inner calm, but emotions run high. Rat Trap, still trapped in his beast mode and increasingly frustrated by his inability to transform, lashes out. His anger escalates into a direct challenge to Optimus's leadership, accusing him of failing to protect Rhinox and Silverbolt. The tension fractures the group's focus. Their argument is abruptly interrupted when Optimus spots something strange. A living bat, small and organic, darting through the tunnels. The creature emits a high-frequency sonic pulse before vanishing into the maze of shadows. The Maximals give chase, following it in beast mode through a web of twisted metal and forgotten passageways. Cheetor, swiftest among them, finally catches the creature. To their astonishment, the bat speaks and identifies as a Maximal. Before questions can be answered, aerodrones descend, led by Jetstorm in a sudden ambush. The Maximals are forced to shift into robot mode and defend themselves, though Rat Trap, still unable to transform, hides. As the drones close in, the mysterious bat lets out a piercing sonic blast. The frequency scrambles the drones' targeting systems, and in their confusion, they turn their weapons on each other. Jetstorm, damaged in the chaos, is forced to retreat. After the battle, the bat guides the team to a hidden chamber, an underground grove glowing with bioluminescent warmth, centered around a towering organic tree. He recounts how, after a Vehicon attack, he fell into Cybertron's depths and was mysteriously reborn in his current form. The tree, he explains, sustains him. Offering its glowing fruit, he invites the Maximals to eat. Optimus and Black Arachnia accept, driven by trust, or perhaps weariness. Cheetor, however, hesitates. Suspicion holds him back. His instincts prove right. Not long after eating, those who consumed the fruit began to change. Their minds regress, overtaken by primal urges. Reason and restraint give way to instinct. Black Arachnia prowls, feral and unrecognizable, while Optimus struggles against the overwhelming pull of the tree's influence. At that moment, Jetstorm returns to strike. The Maximals are incapacitated, unable to fight. Cheetor, aided by the wounded bat, fights to protect the others. Together, they attack the tree, severing its power. The moment it falls, the spell breaks. Those under its influence regain their minds. Jetstorm, wounded yet again, flees into the shadows. Gravely injured, the bat lies weakened. Seeing potential and recognizing the price of inaction, Optimus uses the Oracle's energy to reformat himself into techno-organic form. The process nearly exhausts him, but it succeeds. The bat, reborn and newly named Night Scream, awakens transformed. With a piercing cry and renewed strength, he eliminates the remaining drones and forces Jetstorm into full retreat. Weakened, Optimus appoints Cheetor as temporary leader, trusting his judgment in this time of change. Night Scream, no longer alone, chooses to join the Maximals. As they leave the grove behind, one final piece of fruit, untouched, silently takes root in the metallic soil of Cybertron. Its quiet growth suggests deeper forces at play and mysteries yet to bloom.
What's it to be? Will you honor your word?
Episode 6, The Weak Component. Weakened from reformatting Night Scream, Optimus Primal slips into a restless vision, one filled with shifting light and cryptic glimpses of Cybertron's uncertain future. He wakes in a haze, only to be informed by Black Arachnia that Rat Trap has joined Cheetor and Night Scream on a reconnaissance mission. Still fatigued, Optimus can do little but watch as the younger Maximals step into danger. The trio infiltrates a massive Veicon manufacturing plant hidden beneath Cybertron's industrial sector. Almost immediately, they come under heavy fire from swarms of aero and tank drones. Caught in the chaos, Rat Trap, still locked in beast mode and unable to defend himself, receives one clear order: reach the main console and retrieve whatever data he can. While Cheetor and Night Scream engage the enemy, Rat Trap navigates a storm of blaster fire to jack into the system. Amid the firefight, Night Scream notices a tactical weakness. The drones around them begin to falter when their commanding generals, Jetstorm and Tankor, are targeted. Seeing an opportunity, he and Cheetor coordinate a precise ambush. But just as the trap is set, Rat Trap panics. Desperate to help and eager to prove himself, he activates his transformation, only to realize, to his dismay, that his new robot form lacks any weapons. He stands exposed, helpless in the center of the battlefield. The disruption gives Megatron the opening he needs. As the Maximals scramble to recover their position, the factory surges to life, beginning mass production of tank drones under Megatron's direct control. Realizing the danger, Rat Trap attempts a desperate maneuver. He jacks into the mainframe once again, hoping to stall the assembly lines. The effort triggers a dangerous power overload. A chain reaction ignites, culminating in a massive explosion that levels the facility and plunges the surrounding sector into a blackout. Back at base, tensions erupt. Cheetor and Night Scream confront Rat Trap, furious at his recklessness and the mission's failure. Rat Trap, humiliated and raw, withdraws into silence. As he replays the corrupted data salvaged from the plant, he stumbles upon something, a brief but telling moment when Megatron, mid-reboot, appeared vulnerable. He shares the finding with the others, but it's dismissed as irrelevant. Wounded by doubt and determined to prove his worth, Rat Trap makes a bold and solitary move. Slipping away from the group, he infiltrates Megatron's heavily fortified citadel. There, he offers Megatron a proposition. In exchange for functioning weaponry, Rat Trap will personally stand guard over the recovering tyrant until dawn. If any harm comes to Megatron at that time, Rat Trap forfeits the deal. It's a dangerous bargain, but Megatron accepts. Not long after, the other Maximals, alarmed by Rat Trap's disappearance, stormed the Citadel in a hasty rescue attempt. They find Rat Trap standing at Megatron's side, weapon in hand, yet unmoving. Bound by honor and the terms of the agreement, he refuses to fire. His restraint confounds them and surprises Megatron. Episode 7, Revelations Part 1, Discovery. The episode opens in the shadowy depths of Cybertron's underground, where the Maximals, Optimus Primal, Cheetor, Rat Trap, and Black Arachnia find themselves backed into a corner. Veicon drones, led by the relentless General Thrust, close in. With no clear escape, Optimus makes a desperate decision. He floods the caverns with coolant. The sudden surge of freezing liquid drives back the drones, but not without consequence. In the chaos, Rat Trap is nearly swept away, and Optimus risks everything to pull him to safety. When the team finally claws its way to the surface, they are greeted not by freedom, but by horror. Towering over the desolate ruins is a nightmarish factory, its purpose grotesquely clear. Strewn across its floors are the empty body shells of Cybertronians, their sparks extracted and taken, not extinguished. The sight is devastating. For Black Arachnia, it's personal. The image of Silverbolt, missing and possibly subjected to the same fate, haunts her. There's no time to grieve. The air shudders as Jetstorm descends, flanked by aero drones. The Maximals, weary from constant pursuit, make a stand. They refuse to run. As battle erupts, the chaos fragments them. Thrust singles out Blackarachnia and gives chase, but what happens next defies everything she expects. Jetstorm launches a barrage of missiles, one of which threatens to strike them both. In a split-second decision, Thrust shields her, taking the blast himself. The impact causes a nearby tower to collapse, burying them beneath a mountain of debris. Blackarachnia disappears in the dust and rubble. Elsewhere in the facility, the Maximals scramble to make sense of what's happening. The coolant Optimus had released earlier, meant only as a means of escape, turns out to be far more critical than they realized. It was also essential to regulate the stability of the factory. Without it, the entire complex is on the brink of detonation. Time is running out. In the midst of this crisis, a new tension rises. Cheetor, shaken by the toll the war has taken and desperate for decisive action, steps forward and declares himself the new leader. The moment stuns Optimus, who is visibly taken aback, but there's no time for dispute. The threat of the explosion looms. Then, a revelation shifts everything. Blackarachnia re-emerges, battered but alive, with a startling discovery. Thrust's spark doesn't belong to a Vehican, it was once Maximal. This changes everything. The Vehican generals, long assumed to be artificial enemies, might instead be victims. Perhaps Jetstorm, Tankor, and others were once Maximals themselves, stripped of their identities and imprisoned in mechanical shells. For the first time in what feels like ages, a glimmer of hope breaks through the despair. The Maximals begin to see their enemies in a new light. They're not just fighting to survive anymore, they're fighting to save those who have been lost to the cold machinery of war. With renewed purpose, they vow not to destroy the generals, but to rescue them, one spark at a time.
Right here, Rocket Man!
Episode 8, Revelations Part 2, Descent. Optimus Primal remains locked in a trance, consumed by cryptic visions from the Oracle. His absence leaves the Maximals exposed, their leadership wavering. Recognizing the growing urgency, Cheetor takes the initiative. The burden of leadership falls to him, and he rises to the challenge, determined to act. His mission is clear: retrieve the spark of Tankor, the slowest and most methodical of the Vehican generals. Cheetor divides the team with a careful strategy. Nightscream and Blackarachnia are tasked with creating diversions, drawing away Jetstorm and Thrust, while he and Rattrap attempt to infiltrate Tankor's systems and recover any traces of his former self. Their coordinated effort leads them to the ruins of a spaceport. It hums with danger and old memories. Nightscream bursts into action, unleashing chaos upon Jetstorm's defense drones, pulling the volatile general into an aerial chase. At the same time, Blackarachnia confronts Thrust directly. Their clash isn't just physical, it stirs something deep within Thrust. As she presses him, his cold exterior begins to crack, and sudden flashes assault him. Fragmented images of fossil reforging of Optimus Primal, Rhinox, and Cheetor, all once allies. Somewhere beneath his Vehican shell, something familiar stirs. Meanwhile, Cheetor and Rattrap move stealthily through the docks, where Tankor oversees transport operations. Cheetor boldly engages him, drawing his focus with taunts, while Rattrap covertly taps into the port's automated systems. Using cranes and utility drones, Rattrap hacks into Tankor's data core. What he finds stops him cold. The downloaded memories paint a vivid picture of Cybertron's fall, Megatron's escape through a transwarp rift. The Maximal ship is being shot down from orbit, and then a sickly green gas blanketed the planet, transforming the Maximals back into their primal beast forms. Optimus as a gorilla, Cheetor as a cheetah, Rattrap as a rat. Most shocking of all is the truth about Tankor. Beneath the armor, the spark belongs to Rhinox, the Maximal philosopher and warrior they once knew. But the shock cuts even deeper. As Rattrap watches the memory fragments play out, he realizes they aren't just Tankor's recollections. They are his own. Somehow, His memories are entangled with these revelations, as though part of him had always known. It's a destabilizing moment, one that forces him to confront his own past amid a war that keeps rewriting who they all are. Their escape doesn't come easily. Jetstorm, now enraged and suspicious, returns to the battlefield. In a brutal act, he forcibly extracts Blackarachnia's spark mid-confrontation. Her body collapses, lifeless and exposed. Holding her spark captive, Jetstorm prepares to deliver it to Megatron. The Maximals, already reeling from what they've uncovered, must now scramble to save her. Later on, Tankor cradles a vessel containing what is unmistakably Rhinox's spark. Blackarachnia lies sparkless, her fate uncertain. The Maximals have gained insight, but at a heavy cost. The lines between ally and enemy have begun to blur. Every revelation unearths a painful truth. The very beings they now battle might once have stood at their side. Their mission, once about survival, has grown deeper. Now it's about redemption, not just for Cybertron. Episode 9, Revelations, Part 3, Apocalypse. The episode opens in high gear, launching into a frenetic aerial chase. Jetstorm, clutching Blackarachnia's spark, streaks across the skyline of a crumbling city, his taunts echoing behind him. But Nightscream is relentless. Dodging debris and chasing through narrow passages, he seizes a moment of opportunity, dropping a massive elevator shaft onto his target. The resulting explosion is thunderous, sending shards of metal flying. Yet Jetstorm, though rattled, escapes once more, the spark still in his grasp. Elsewhere, Cheetor and Rattrap track down Tankor. Hope lingers between them. Hope that their old friend Rhinox still exists beneath the Verkan shell. They engage him cautiously, trying to awaken what remains. For a fleeting heartbeat, it works. Tanker's rampage falters. Fractured glimpses of Rhinox emerge. Familiar eyes, familiar strength, but the moment is short-lived. Tankor lashes out violently, erasing the glimmer of his former self in an instant. He barrels through shipping containers and rips through machinery, his rampage forcing the Maximals to flee amid the chaos. Advanced tank drones close in, overwhelming them with brute force and precision. Meanwhile, across the ruined streets, Thrust carries Blackarachnia's inert, sparkless body. Her absence is haunting, but Nightscream isn't far behind. He intercepts Thrust, engaging in a fierce battle fueled by desperation. Thrust, supercharged with volatile energon, fights with explosive energy, but Nightscream holds his ground, unwilling to let Blackarachnia slip further away. While battle rages in the physical world, another fight takes place on a deeper plane. Inside a lowness, surreal void, Blackarachnia drifts, trapped in her own mind. Guided by a metaphysical connection through Optimus Primal, she finds her spark again. At first, fear grips her. She hesitates, but something within stirs, and gradually she reaches out. The moment of reunion is profound. Her spark returns to her body, and with it, life floods back. She awakens, transformed by the journey. Back at the crumbling docks, destruction spreads. Tank-like drones collapse in domino fashion, leaving wreckage in their wake. Amid this chaos, Optimus Primal walks alone in a dreamscape conjured by the Oracle, a serene, techno-organic field far removed from the war-torn world above. There, he meets Rhinox, who speaks not as a lost Maximal, but as Tankor, fully self-aware and aligned with Megatron. He has not been a prisoner in his new form. He has made a choice. He now believes that technological control, not balance, is the future of Cybertron. The revelation shatters the hope that sustained the Maximals. Cheetor and Rattrap urge immediate reprogramming, desperate to save what remains. But Optimus stops them. This, he insists, is Rhinox's decision, even if it means letting go. Rhinox turns and departs, his final words signaling the end of who he once was. They will not meet again as friends. The episode closes on a solemn note. The Maximals return to their base, each carrying the weight of the day's revelations. Blackarachnia, newly revived, sits among them. Rhinox is truly gone. Optimus speaks to his team, voice heavy with purpose. The Oracle's message is finally clear. They were chosen by the Matrix to restore nature to a world consumed by technology. As a new phase of the war begins, their path forward will demand not just strength, but belief. Episode 10, Survivor. Megatron, still haunted by his lingering organic half, fumes in the cold, towering confines of the Council Citadel. Desperation claws at him. He wants nothing more than to purge his remaining organic essence once and for all. His ever-loyal diagnostic drone proposes a solution: capture Night Scream. As a Cybertronian with a beast mode, Night Scream may hold the key to reversing the techno-organic transformation. Seizing the opportunity, Megatron sends his Vehicon generals and the drone into Cybertron's ancient catacombs with a singular mission: bring Night Scream in. Elsewhere, deep beneath the metallic surface of Cybertron, Night Scream grapples with memories of his transformation. With guidance from Optimus Primal and Rat Trap, he begins to piece together the story of how he gained his beast form. He reveals that Cybertronians, long ago, were equipped with built-in DNA scanners, an evolutionary trait from the quantum cycle upgrade. Unlike the stasis pods used in the Beast Wars era, it was this built-in scanner that enabled him to adopt a beast mode under extreme conditions. Rat Trap, ever resourceful, presents a mysterious seed from the organic tree, which the Oracle once called the Seed of the Future. With renewed purpose, the Maximals return to the sealed chamber where Night Scream originally transformed. As he unleashes his powerful sonic resonance, the stone walls begin to crack and crumble, but the disturbance doesn't go unnoticed. The diagnostic drone and Vehicons, tracking the sound, close in quickly. A fierce battle erupts within the chamber. Optimus and his team are ambushed by the generals, who use the opportunity to trap Night Scream and prevent his escape. Overpowered, he's captured and taken to a regeneration chamber, an ominous place meant to dissect and analyze his techno-organic body. But as the Vehicons watch in awe, his organic and mechanical components begin to heal and reintegrate, seemingly defying logic. Then, in a sudden surge of rebellion, Night Scream releases a devastating sonic blast, catching his captors off guard. He breaks free in a stunning display of power and agility, navigating through the underground tunnels and narrowly slipping past Jetstorm and Thrust in his escape. Back above, the tides begin to shift. Tankor, harboring ambitions of his own, quietly seizes control of the diagnostic drone. He reprograms it, no longer content with simply serving Megatron. To him, Megatron's obsession with eliminating organics poses a greater threat to Cybertron than the Maximals ever could. With the drone now aligned to his vision, Tankor declares his intent to overthrow Megatron and claim the planet for himself. Meanwhile, Optimus and Night Scream reach a cavern unlike any other. Within it, the fossilized remains of a bat. As Night Scream gazes upon it, memories flood back. It was this very fossil he scanned during a solo mission, which had saved his life and gifted him his beast form. Standing on the edge of realization, he plants the seed from the organic tree, marking the first flicker of revived organic life on Cybertron's surface. With the events of the day over, hope and uncertainty hang in the air. Night Scream has rediscovered the truth behind his form, and with it, a key to restoring balance. But darker currents stir. Tankor now seeks the Oracle itself, and Megatron's grip weakens. The Maximals steel themselves for what's to come, as nature and machine prepare for another reckoning. Episode 11, The Key. In the dim, digital recesses of the Oracle's core, Tankor, once Rhinox, uncovers something long thought lost to myth: the key to Vector Sigma. More than a relic, it is a weaponized program designed to strip away organic matter and convert it into cold, unfeeling technometal. With the help of Megatron's diagnostic drone, Tankor uploads the key directly into his main cannon, gaining access to a power capable of altering the fate of Cybertron itself. Meanwhile, far beneath the planet's metal crust, the Maximals press forward in their efforts to rekindle natural life. Guided by the Oracle's earlier vision and their own hope, they tap into nutrient-rich organic goop drawn from Cybertron's core and use it to nourish a small underground grove. Slowly, the first trees begin to bloom, symbols of rebirth in a world long since stripped of its nature. For the Maximals, it's a breakthrough. For a moment, they believe the balance might finally begin to shift, but the moment doesn't last. Tankor storms the grove with brutal precision, unleashing the key's devastating beam. His target is Optimus Primal, but the blast instead hits Night Scream. The result is catastrophic. Almost instantly, Nightscream begins to transform into a warped version of himself, a feral, mechanized hybrid consumed by techno-conversion. His mind spirals into chaos as his body teeters on the brink of full mechanization, and the Maximals are thrown into disarray trying to contain him. Tankor, having channeled too much of the key's volatile energy, overloads and appears to crash. As sparks fly and systems fail, he slumps over, seemingly offline. But the scene is a ruse. In a calculated maneuver, Tankor projects a holographic decoy, faking his own destruction. The diagnostic drone, loyal to his hidden ambitions, retrieves the unconscious general. Together, they retreat into the shadows, preparing for a far more insidious plan, one that may threaten both Megatron and Optimus. Back in the Grove, the fallout continues. Black Arachnia, in a desperate effort to purge the techno-infection from Nightscream, tries to neutralize it manually, but the virus proves too potent. As she comes into contact with it, the corruption spreads to her as well, and she begins to succumb. The team quickly realizes that only the organic goop can counteract the key's effects. With time running out, Optimus, Cheetor, Rat Trap, and Black Arachnia launch a bold plan. Using a mole drone, they tunnel deeper into the planet's surface, hoping to access a richer vein of organic energy. Their gamble pays off. A surge of glowing, restorative goop erupts into the Grove in a wave of healing force. It washes over the infected Maximals, neutralizing the technovirus and returning Nightscream and Black Arachnia to their true forms. As the Grove breathes once more, the Maximals rally, victorious for now. But high above, Tankor is far from idle. Recovered and regrouped with the diagnostic drone at his side, he sets his sights on something far greater. His schemes no longer serve Megatron alone. Now, he moves with his own purpose, eyes locked on both his former leader and his old comrade. Episode 12, The Catalyst. In the quiet sanctuary of their growing orchard, the Maximals hold a solemn memorial for Rhinox. Among the vibrant trees and flourishing life, they honor their fallen comrade, unaware that the moment of peace is being watched. Tankor, secretly alive and hiding behind his former identity, surveils the gathering from the shadows. Every movement, every word is relayed back to Megatron's diagnostic drone. Under Tankor's subtle influence, the drone manipulates Megatron into deploying a dangerous test, key to Vector Sigma programs, now encoded onto Aero and Cycle drones, with the goal of eradicating organic life across Cybertron. Amid this looming threat, Rat Trap stumbles upon something extraordinary while sifting through the Oracle's ancient data, an organic catalyst program. Intrigued, he activates it in the orchard. The effect is immediate and overwhelming. Vines burst from the soil and begin growing at an uncontrollable rate, one even hoisting Rat Trap into the air. Only the combined effort of Optimus, Cheetor, and Nightscream frees him from the grip of the rampant growth. Elsewhere, Black Arachnia pursues a personal mission. Hopeful that the organic goop might restore the sparks buried beneath Veikon shells, she extracts a sample and applies it to thrust, but the results aren't what she expected. Rather than Silverbolt, it's Waspinator's spark that emerges, wild, chaotic, and unmistakably not the one she sought. Before she can process the truth, Jetstorm accidentally comes into contact with the goop. This time it works. Silverbolt's spark reawakens briefly, shining through his Veikon shell. For one fleeting moment, the past returns, and Black Arachnia glimpses the Silverbolt she lost. The reunion, though, is short-lived. Megatron's drones descend without warning, now armed with the deadly keys. They fire at the goop-influenced transformations, forcibly reversing both thrust and Jetstorm back to their Veikon forms. Black Arachnia narrowly escapes the attack, saved at the last second by the very vines that had endangered Rat Trap earlier. Chaos follows as the vines, now infused with corrupted energies, begin spreading uncontrollably, threatening not just the orchard, but Cybertron's organic core beneath it. Faced with disaster, Rat Trap acts quickly. He manages to sever the infected vines before they can reach the core and cause irreversible damage. The Grove is safe, for now, but the recklessness has consequences. Optimus steps in, frustrated and burdened. He chastises the team for tampering with forces they don't fully understand, especially without clear guidance from the Oracle, which still remains mysteriously inaccessible. The tension among the Maximals grows, as they realize that their eagerness to restore life may also risk its destruction. As the episode draws to a close, the true scale of Tanker's manipulation becomes clear. Through the diagnostic drone, Megatron is fully convinced the key to Vector Sigma must be mass deployed. Now, every tank drone is being outfitted with the program. What began as a test has become a full-scale assault, one aimed not just at the Maximals, but at the very heart of Cybertron's emerging natural rebirth. Episode 13, End of the Line. The Maximals, Optimus Primal, Cheetor, Rat Trap, Black Arachnia, and Night Scream launch a daring infiltration mission, slipping into Megatron's heavily guarded data systems in search of answers. Their goal is urgent: uncover who or what has been manipulating the Oracle and twisting its guidance. But the operation doesn't go unnoticed. Tank drones storm in, triggering a fierce confrontation. Thinking fast, Cheetor hurls makeshift vine bombs, entangling the drones long enough for the team to make a narrow escape. Elsewhere, Tankor basks in what he believes is his ultimate triumph. With Megatron arming every tank drone with the fearsome keys to Vector Sigma, a total conversion of Cybertron's remaining organic matter seems inevitable. But Tankor's satisfaction quickly fades. He realizes that despite his schemes, true control still rests with Megatron. The master he hoped to outmaneuver holds all the cards and the command codes. Back with the Maximals, Optimus Primal is struck by a powerful vision. It seems to come from the Oracle itself, beckoning him toward what it claims is his final path. Compelled by its urgency, he prepares to act. But before he can leave, the other Maximals arrive with grave news. The keys have been fully deployed and a planet-wide conversion assault is underway. Then comes the revelation. The Oracle-powered diagnostic drone, under subtle pressure, admits that the vision wasn't real. It was fabricated, a trap carefully orchestrated by Tankor to lure Optimus into a critical error. Despite the betrayal, the Maximals press forward. Guided by the false vision, but driven by real conviction, Optimus leads the team to the legendary Plasma Energy Chamber, an ancient vault with the power to erase all technological systems from existence. As the chamber opens, Optimus descends into its depths. There, he instructs the team to assume beast mode before unleashing a controlled plasma burst, vaporizing a mole drone to demonstrate its sheer force. He reveals the chamber's truth. It holds enough power to reset Cybertron completely, purging every artificial construct, including, potentially, themselves. Cheetor, recognizing the catastrophic risk, pleads for an alternative. He proposes a coordinated strike using seed grenades to stall the keys while Rat Trap works to disable their core functions. But Megatron has been watching. The moment he learns of the plasma chamber's activation, he launches a devastating counterattack. Tankor seizes the moment to betray the Maximals once more, infecting Rat Trap with raw technomatter in a calculated move to derail the plan from within. Amid the chaos, Optimus faces Megatron in the heart of the Council Citadel. The two clash in a brutal, high-stakes duel. Megatron taunts him with live monitor feeds, showing the Maximals being overwhelmed by the expanding techno-conversion wave. Undeterred, Optimus taps into the Oracle's final directive. Even as the fight rages, he channels its power and triggers the plasma chamber remotely. Megatron, refusing to be undone, orders his drones to fire the keys. The skies tear open. A cataclysm of energy surges across Cybertron, plasma and technomatter colliding in a storm of unimaginable force. In the final, haunting moment, Optimus's hand begins to dissolve, consumed by the very forces he unleashed. Episode 11, Endgame. Part 1, The Downward Spiral. Cybertron is under relentless siege. Megatron's Vehicon armies sweep across the planet like a mechanical plague, churned out endlessly from his automated factories. At the heart of the offensive are his fiercely loyal generals, Obsidian, Striker, and Thrust, tasked with launching a renewed assault to reclaim Megatron's massive floating fortress. Yet Megatron's ambitions go beyond military might. He seeks a symbolic template body, a vessel of perfection that hints at his deeper obsession with spark transfer and control. Inside the fortress, shaped like a colossal, hollowed head drifting above the planet. The Maximals mount a desperate defense. They guard the stolen sparks, knowing full well that their safe return to bodies would renew the Maximal population. But Optimus Primal hesitates. The threat of Megatron's capture looms too large. Releasing the sparks now would risk handing them straight back to their tyrannical captor. Amid growing tension, Botanica executes a high-risk strike against the defense grid, disabling Megatron's remote hacking capabilities. Rattrap, ever the improviser, scrambles to repurpose the fortress's weapons, but finds them encrypted, keyed exclusively to Megatron's own spark signature. With no access to firepower and the drones closing in, Rattrap deploys a decoy system, clever signal-disrupting discs that emit false spark signatures. These sow confusion among the Vehicons, cloaking the Maximals in a sea of phantom echoes. Under the cover of chaos, Silverbolt, Black Arachnia, and Night Scream slip out, striking hard at enemy flanks and deepening the disarray. Meanwhile, underground, Rattrap builds a disguised life pod, engineered to bypass the fortress's shields. Their true mission lies deeper still, a high-stakes infiltration of Megatron's primary drone factory. The Maximal strike team penetrates the facility and engages Megatron himself. He overwhelms them at first, but Night Scream's unpredictable tactics provide the opening they need. Amid the melee, they plant an explosive at the factory's central control hub. The resulting detonation rips through the structure in a fiery eruption, halting the production of Vehicons and leaving Megatron temporarily crippled. Yet the victory is incomplete. Though the factory lies in ruins, Megatron's floating fortress remains shielded, powered ominously by siphoning energy from Cybertron's organic core. The effect is immediate and devastating. Botanica, deeply connected to the planet's organic essence, begins to weaken visibly. In a desperate gambit, the team places her in the Harmonix-matched life pod. It launches through the fortress's shielding, but Megatron's forces have detected Rattrap's earlier signal. The pod is struck mid-flight, spiraling toward a catastrophic crash. Miraculously, the team reaches her in time, pulling her from the wreckage. With power reserves dwindling, Rattrap erects a last-ditch stasis field around the spark chambers, insulating them from capture. Moments later, the massive, head-shaped fortress, already destabilized, crashes violently onto the citadel below, throwing debris across the skyline. As the dust settles, the Maximals emerge alive, bruised, and clinging to the sparks they vowed to protect. But their victory is fleeting. The fortress's systems are dead, their weapons drained, and in every direction, drone armies advance in terrifying numbers. Surrounded, with no energy left to fight, the Maximals take stock. Rattrap questions the cost of his strategy. Cheetor rails against the collapsing defense network, but Optimus Primal, calm and resolute, remains focused. Megatron may have the numbers, but he will not reclaim the sparks, not while a single Maximal stands between him and victory. The episode ends in suspended breath, the quiet before the next storm, with Cybertron hanging in the balance.
Getting in.
You never disappoint.
Episode 12, Endgame Part 2, When Legends Fall. The Maximals brace for a desperate last stand within the heart of Megatron's floating fortress. All around them, a vast army of Vehicons tightens its grip, encircling the citadel like a noose. The shield still holds, but the power sustaining it is dangerously low. With Megatron's generals and drones closing in, only moments remain for the Maximals to act. Tension mounts. Every second is a countdown. Then, in a flicker of insight, Botanica uncovers a hidden power conduit beneath the chamber floor. With precision and urgency, she reroutes its energy into the failing shield. The effect is immediate. The barrier pulses stronger, buying the Maximals a sliver of time. Rattrap is overjoyed. This unexpected surge offers a brief window to reinforce their defenses before the Vehicons realize what's happened. But Silverbolt, scanning the conduit, quickly tempers their hope. The channel's stability is fleeting. The Maximals have one last chance to prepare. The confrontation ahead is inevitable, and it will be swift and unforgiving. Within this crucible of pressure, Optimus Primal withdraws into the spark chamber. There, he enters a state of quiet communion with the Oracle. What follows is not a command, but a vision, a mosaic of unity, woven from the voices of the many captured sparks. It is a spiritual reckoning, a reminder of what they fight for and what they must protect. The moment renews him, and when he steps out of the chamber, that inner strength radiates outward, imbuing each Maximal with a fresh sense of purpose. Together, they take position at the fortress threshold. They've secured the shield geometry as best they can, and now there's nothing left but the battle. A massive spectral projection of Megatron's face hovers overhead, cold and calculating, offering the Maximals an easy path to surrender. His message is clear: resistance is futile. But there is no hesitation in the Maximals' stance. Their silence is louder than any declaration. Rejection without words. The first wave strikes. Kamikaze drones hurtle into the shield, detonating in a series of brutal, bone-rattling impacts. The explosions ripple through the fortress, weakening the barrier and pushing the Maximals to the very edge of collapse. Then, the wall breaks. The Veicons surge inward, and the battle ignites. Gunfire echoes through the steel corridors, metal against metal, beast against machine. As the melee rages above, a new threat bursts from below. Botanica feels it first, a tremor beneath the orchard. Mole drones break through the floor, flooding into her sacred chamber of growth and life. Her cry of alarm pierces the noise. Rat Trap and Night Scream are already moving, rushing to defend the core she's nurtured. There, amidst tangled roots and metal dust, a parallel battle unfolds, one just as vital as the fight above. Back at the threshold, the remaining Maximals rally. The shield is failing, the drones keep coming, but the Maximals do not falter. Every inch of ground is fought for, every blow delivered with purpose. The episode reaches its crescendo in a storm of metal and will. Sparks fly, steel clashes, and the fortress reverberates with the sound of resistance. Against overwhelming odds, the Maximals fight with everything they have, not for victory, but for survival, for each other, and for the hope that something organic can still endure in a mechanical world. Episode 13, Endgame Part 3, Seeds of the Future. In a final, cataclysmic showdown, Optimus Primal and Megatron stand as the last Transformers on Cybertron, war-scarred, unwavering and bound by destiny. Their battleground is a crumbling world of twisted steel and emerging life. Megatron, now wielding a new version of Optimus's once noble, optimal form, stripped of its beast essence, radiates cold triumph. The captured Maximal sparks hover within his containment chamber, flickering like trapped stars. With a gloating sense of finality, he absorbs them one by one, declaring his dominance. Fury ignites in Optimus. He strikes with everything he has, but Megatron counters with a brutal blow that sends him crashing through the walls of the floating citadel. What follows is a relentless chase across Cybertron's ravaged techno-organic ruins. Optimus, fighting tactically, sabotages a power generator mid-flight, unleashing a fiery blast that tears off Megatron's arm. The damage is temporary. Within moments, Megatron reattaches it, his pursuit unyielding. Their conflict spills into a churning river filled with chaotic whirlpools. Megatron dives in, tearing through rock and earth, dragging Optimus beneath the surface. When Optimus finally awakens, it's within the wreckage of the Oracle's chamber. Around him lie the inert, sparkless bodies of his dearest comrades, Silverbolt, Black Arachnia, silent, lifeless witnesses to Megatron's destruction. Then Megatron appears, calm and absolute, and ushers Optimus towards the Council Citadel. There, seated upon the throne at the heart of the Spark Chamber, Megatron begins the final stage of his conquest. The stolen sparks are absorbed into him, inflating his power and form as he prepares for a dark ascension, fueled by the key to Vector Sigma. Primal, broken but not yet defeated, calls out to the fading sparks. He pleads for unity, for harmony within the Matrix, but Megatron severs the psychic bond that links them, drowning Optimus in isolation. For a moment all seems lost. Then, from within the silence, the voices of his fallen allies begin to rise. The voices of Silverbolt, Black Arachnia, Rat Trap, and others pour strength back into him. The chamber trembles. From the depths of Cybertron's core, a surge of techno-organic vines erupts, snaring Megatron in defiance. With one last immense effort, Optimus tackles Megatron and hurls him into the heart of the planet. The two adversaries vanish into the blinding light of the core, consumed in a radiant burst of energy. Sparks scatter like fireflies across the sky. Silence follows. Then, slowly, the darkness recedes. The veil lifts to reveal a transformed Cybertron. No longer a world divided between machine and nature, but reborn in perfect techno-organic harmony. Across the planet, Maximals awaken. Sparks, once captive, rejoin their rightful bodies. Silverbolt opens his eyes to find Black Arachnia by his side. In the final moments, a serene vision unfolds. The Oracle reaches out to Cheetor, offering guidance for the future. And high above, Optimus's spark ascends into the light. His final message resonates across the awakening world, a call to transformation, not just of form, but of spirit. The Maximals stand at the dawn of a new era, guardians of a united world forged through sacrifice, hope, and unbreakable bonds. As Cybertron breathes again, they are ready to lead it, transformed and transcendent. With that, we finally wrap up this iconic show. To be honest, the 1999 blast of Beast Machines did more than simply carry on the Maximals saga. It reimagined the potential of Transformers. The show took an unexpectedly philosophical turn with its exploration of technophobia, evolution, and the struggle between freedom and order. Characters grappled with questions of destiny, purpose, and identity as Cybertron evolved from a mechanized empire into a battlefield of ideology. Even now, some 20 years after its release, Beast Machines continues to polarize fans. Bold, emotionally deep, and fearless in its boundary pushing, it was, according to some admirers, a masterpiece that was misinterpreted. Critics, though, panned it for its abrupt change in tone, rewritten characters, and abstract storyline, which they perceived as a rejection of Transformers' core values. However, despite differing opinions, some critics did praise the show for its ambitious goals and intellectual profundity. But love it or loathe it, Beast Machines left a mark. It dared to ask big questions in a franchise better known for explosions than existentialism. It challenged viewers to think about balance, change, and identity, all wrapped in sleek animation and techno-organic warfare. While it may never be the most beloved Transformers series, it's certainly one of the most talked about. But, if you ask me, in a universe of countless reboots, rebrands, and resurrections, Beast Machines stands as a rare example of a franchise taking a creative leap off the deep end. And for that alone, it deserves to be remembered, not just as a sequel, but as a statement.